In this lesson, we'll discuss two vital rules affecting the scope and applicability of the holder in due course protections: the Close-Connectedness Doctrine and the Shelter Rule. The Close-Connectedness Doctrine applies primarily to consumer transactions. A consumer transaction is one in which an individual uses a negotiable instrument to purchase goods or services for personal, family, or household purposes. Historically, some creditors use the holder in due course doctrine to exploit unsuspecting consumers. For example, imagine that a consumer used a negotiable instrument to purchase a product from a seller. The seller then negotiated the instrument to a closely related entity and delivered a defective product to the consumer. Under the usual holder in due course rules, the closely related entity would take the instrument as a holder in due course. Consequently, the consumer would be deprived of most of her defenses against enforcement and would be compelled to pay the instrument even though the product was defective. To combat these sorts of practices, courts developed the Close-Connectedness Doctrine. The Close-Connectedness Doctrine denies holder in due course status to a taker who is too closely related to the transaction or the payee. Although there is no bright-line rule to determine whether a taker is too closely connected, courts have identified some important factors to consider. The first factor considered in applying the Close-Connectedness Doctrine is the extent of the taker's involvement in the underlying transaction. For instance, if the taker regularly supplies pre-printed notes and lends money directly to the payee, such circumstances may support a finding that the taker is too closely connected to qualify as a holder in due course. Furthermore, close connectedness may be found if the taker exerts significant influence in setting or approving the rules, procedures, or standards governing the terms of the underlying transaction.